You talk about focusing on 4 fundamentals that can massively change your life. I want to see if you can read. I've been reading your
Sure.
book, but I want to see if you can read these 4.
Oh, so I wrote this one after finishing a 45-day meditation course. It was like the first thing I wrote. Um, Focusing on a few fundamentals can create a massive change in your life. Number 1, make your healing, personal transformation, and well-being top priorities. Number 2, refrain from harming yourself or others. 3, create mental space for gratitude. 4, be kind and generous to others.
Yeah, this is, if everyone on the planet made these 4 things their top priority, the world would be a more harmonious, peaceful place. And it starts with making healing, personal transformation, and well-being your focus.
Yeah.
Because when we don't make it our focus, it's not present. It's not in us. And we become sick, we become sad, we become cynical, all these different things. And that doesn't create positivity in the world. It doesn't move things forward in a powerful way.
Yeah.
So making your healing, personal transformation, and well-being a top priority, that alone, most people aren't spending the time like you talked about to create mental space
Right.
for that to happen.
Yeah.
They're not living in gratitude even for a moment throughout the day. They're not creating 10 minutes to just think in peace without being on a distraction or a phone or a
Right.
TV.
Right.
And really think about, where can I invest my time in well-being? And if people could spend 1 hour a day on just well-being, whether it's calm mind, whether it's meditation, whether
Right,
it's
whatever,
walking,
yeah.
whether it's working out, going to therapy, 1 hour a day on their well-being, it will drastically improve the quality of their life.
It totally does. I've gotten so many messages from, especially like mothers, mothers who like have so many responsibilities and so many things they're doing, and, hearing stories about how they were inspired to just take like 10, 15, 20 minutes to themselves to just like do whatever it was that they needed to recalibrate, right? To whatever practice, whatever tool they had to just like get back into a certain degree of balance. And it's fun. It's, it's good for you, but it's until you practice it,
Yes.
until you do it, until you see the results, you see the payoff of the investment. And until you see the payoff of the investment, you're not like, then that's when you double down. And I think that's what happened to me personally when, I would go to these 10-day meditation courses, like I told you. Like I was doing that for 2 years, and I think I did about 5 of those courses before I started meditating 2 hours a day.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is completely changing my mind. Like I'm not fully healed, not fully wise or anything like that. I got the inspiration to start writing, but then I knew, I was like, if I bring this into my everyday life, the results would be even bigger.
Not just a weekend at a time.
Right. Not just like going
5
away
days here
for
and
a
there,
little
yeah.
bit, but it's like bringing it into my daily life. And I think what inspires me and still inspires me to this day is like, I know how when I put this time to be silent on my own every day, that it affects my marriage positively, my relationship with my parents and my siblings, my relationship with my wife's family, the relationship with all of my friends. All of my work is affected positively. So if I don't do this, every part of my life is gonna just not be as great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, because I'm sure someone watching or listening is thinking of this. Diego, this all sounds great,
Yeah.
but your parents immigrated here, and there's millions of immigrants that don't have time
Yeah.
because they're working whatever jobs they can get, probably 2 or 3 jobs a day to provide for their kids.
Yeah.
There's a lot of single moms that the husbands or their partners left.
Exactly.
And they've got
Yeah.
kids, and they don't have time because they got to work full time
Yeah.
and take care of their kids. They don't have that 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day
Right.
to focus on their well-being. What would your current self say to your parents before they moved, the day before they're about to move to America?
Yeah.
What would you say to them, knowing everything you know about the 20 years that they went through of not having time to focus on well-being? How would you coach them or set them up for success?
Wow, it's such a wonderful question. I've never thought about it in, especially in regards to my parents, because I know we live in a world of tremendous difficulty, and a lot of people are like literally trying to just keep their head above the water in the economic situation. But in regards to my parents, I think I would tell them that I would try to give them the advice that my wife and I now follow, because it's not in regards to meditation or not, but it's what we practice daily, where we are constantly checking in about where we are in our emotions. So when we wake up, we tell each other like, this is, I'm feeling tough, or like, I feel heavy. And it doesn't necessarily need a reason. It's just, sometimes you wake up, you didn't get enough hours of sleep, and you feel like crap, right? And being able to know, like, when I know what my emotion is and I am accepting of it, and then my partner also knows what my emotion is, and we know where each other is at, then we can that creates a situation where there's information that wasn't there before, and we can move forward in the day where, being cognizant of how that emotion is affecting what we're saying.
Right.
And I think we found that a lot in our relationship, my wife and I, where when we know how we feel, it just creates less possibilities for unnecessary arguments. And I think if my parents were, put that into practice, especially back then, that could have become a long-term habit where it's like, oh, now I know my wife just doesn't feel good today, so let's be cool. Let me try my best to support her. And similarly, I think when conflict arises, don't try to win. When you both try to win, you both lose automatically. Try to focus on understanding. And I'm glad that this is becoming a much more popular thing that more people are talking about, because it's needed. Like, if an argument arises, I need to do my best to understand things from your perspective. And then you take the time to understand things from my perspective. How did this series of events move for me? What emotions was I going through as this was transgressing? Same thing for you. When there's more understanding, then there's a possibility for love. And I think that's something that, hopefully as a society we can start shifting towards, because and granted, sometimes there may be times where one of us needs to apologize or whatnot, but overall, trying to understand each other creates more opportunity for love. And those are things that, whether you have time to meditate or not, if you try to put them into practice in the way, when you're interacting with another human being, I think they could be really helpful. Others of us have incurred so much trauma, so much heaviness, that all we can do is get through the day, right? So to me, both situations are powerful. So that's something that should definitely be acknowledged. And I think you can realize when you're in a survival state, when you're living from a reactive perspective.